do you consider that like a trick? Is that a stunt? Like, what's the like? I'm
It's
sure
a
there are
stunt.
categories,
Yeah,
right?
Houdini 100 would be classified as a stunt. You know, escape jack, straight jacket escape is definitely when you're doing it at that height. Yeah, that's a full blown stunt. There's a lot of risk going into that type of stuff. I mean, there's any moment in time, like if something goes the way it's not supposed to go, you can die. So there's a lot of that on the table. So, but you as a performer, as someone who does this for a living and puts myself in those situations, I understand all that, and I have trained and have educated myself, and worked out all the possibilities. But like I said, there's always something that can sneak in and blow it up. But
Are there more
so far I've been pretty
categories?
lucky.
Like, is there tricks, stunts, other things? Like,
Yeah, oh yeah.
what are like
Everything kind of has its
what's the
own kind of
lingo?
its. So all of it kind of falls under the arts, right? The art of magic. But
Hmm.
under the art of magic, there's a lot of extensions, right? There's escapism, which is what the straitjacket escape is, or handcuff escapes. There's illusions, which is like what David Copperfield does, big illusions. There's parlor magic, where it's your quote unquote like your stand-up magician, where you'd see like a small gathering. There's close-up magic, where you're very intimate. It's very under your nose almost. There's comedy magic. There's mentalism. Like I said, there are literally almost different subgroups of forms of the art of magic. But at the
It
end of the
sounds
day,
like a bunch of religions. Like it's like a
it
giant
does,
religion,
right? It
and
kind of
like the
does.
little parts of them.
To give you a better understanding of it, it's like under music, right? You got music, but then you got country, you got classical, you got pop, you have all these little extensions of music. Same
Right.
with magic. It's like you got the art of magic and deception and fooling people, but then you break them down into the unique ways you can do it, right? And that's what's been so fun. As a magician coming up, I got into sleight of hand with a deck of cards. That's what pulled me in really quick, was playing cards. But then when I was in, I realized that there were a zillion other ways to do things that were amazing. And it was all falling under this umbrella of magic. And I was still learning these really cool secrets. But I was getting to play with mentalism, and I was getting to play, try out my, an illusion, get into the illusion world. Like I own some pretty big illusions that have come into play, for shows or corporate events and stuff like that. And those are so much fun to do for an audience, because they all have like different reactions.
Right.
There's certain tricks I do in my show. I know the reaction I'm going to get. I know when I'm going to get a certain laugh. But when I get to mix and match all these different forms of magic, it's like creating your own little symphony. And you get to pull all the strings as the magician, and I'm conducting it, but yet when the notes are hitting, man, and the tricks are landing during a performance, man, it's really like a cool dance out there on stage. It's what it feels like to me.
Right. Right. Well, so as you're saying that there's all these different variations under like the magic umbrella. Is there one that like you lean towards? Is there one that maybe not even that you lean towards? Is I'm sure just being a magician, there's probably some pride in like being very well versed.
Yeah,
But like,
I
is
think
there one that you like the most?
Sleight of hand with cards is probably my favorite thing to do for people. Don't get me wrong, I love just performing for people in general, no matter what it is, and I love finding unique ways to connect with audiences, whether through personal experiences, with my personal experiences, with stuff that's in pop culture. I love tying things together with a common thread, or pulling on the heartstrings a little bit. I'm very much as a magician. I like walking the world of an actor and trying to use all these cool tools that I have as an entertainer, as an artist, to paint a really interesting evening of deception for you. And cards for me have been one of the things I've gotten to explore the most in time, because they just caught me so early on. And so I've always been fascinated with how I can just use a deck of cards to connect with an audience. They're one of the things I think I love them so much, because when you're a magician, right, if you're a big stage illusionist, right, and you can't do that impromptu anywhere. Like you can't be like, hey, let me go wheel out with this big trunk and do this cool thing for you. It doesn't work like that. Whereas a deck of cards is something I can have on me every day in my back pocket, and no matter where I'm out in the world, we may not be able to communicate verbally. But if I take out a deck of cards and I start doing stuff with a pack of cards, like spinning them on my finger, immediately we're making a connection. I'm making a connection with that person, and they're going, wait, how are you doing? What? Oh, and then I take them out, and then the minute you break out a deck of cards, and I give them, and you just give them one of these, immediately they know what you are and what you're going to do for them, right? And so now I can do a magic trick for somebody, and like I said, not be able to say anything else, but I can amaze them and have them walk away with a memory of an interaction that would have not been possible, if I didn't have these on me.